Bump. Ow. Hi. Whoa, is that a real person?
When the pickup truck's not working, Sarah takes her son Enoch to school on a city rent-a-scooter. If there is no scooter available or no money to rent one, they walk.
Good morning.
In the heat, in the cold, and in the rain. No sick days, no excuses. She simply can't afford them. So twice a day, Sarah makes the trip.
Love you more. Love you more. Love you more.
Go hard. I love you more.
More. Have a good day at school.
In between, she waits tables at the Five Sisters restaurant nearby.
Out. So my name's Sarah. I'll be your server today. Take good care of y'all.
It's close to school, the doctor's office, and the motel they call home.
Living situation was made fun of. One kid made fun of him because he was homeless. So I told him, I got on his level and looked him dead in the eyes, and I said, one thing that you need to understand is if we may not have an apartment or a house, but we do have a roof over our head. We have a pillow to lay our head on at night. We have a bed to sleep in. We have a fully running, working bathroom. We're not living out of a car. We're not sleeping under a bridge. We're not sleeping on the side of an abandoned building. We are not homeless. If anything, we're just kitchenless right now, but we make do with an air fryer and a single burner stove. So you're not homeless. You have a home. We go home every day. It may not be what society pictures as a conventional home, but it is our home until we can upgrade to a better one. And I told him, I said, home is where the heart is. And right here between you and I, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of heart. This is home. You know, we may not have everything we want, but we darn sure have everything we need.
She's a practical single mother who doesn't have time for frivolous or impractical extracurricular activities. She is also not ashamed or apologetic for living such a simple life to meet the needs of her son, who has no reason to believe he is any different from any other kid at the Global Learning Academy.
I feel like way more safer, and I feel like I could be me in like some ways. I feel like I could be me, not just because I'm old school. I had to be trapped up. I couldn't be the energetic me like I am today. I couldn't be that enthusiastic, and I couldn't be that person I used to be. When back there in my old school, I couldn't be that person. But here, I feel like I could be better in some ways.
In reality, Enoch may have an advantage over the other students. Here, those who live in a nice home, go on vacations, and don't wear shoes from Walmart, because he already understands what it takes for his mom to provide the basic necessities in life.
If you want to be pretty on the outside, be pretty on the inside. You can't be pretty on the outside and can't be pretty on the inside.
Many of our students here, they lack. We have students here, not all, but we have some students who come here, they lack, more than one pair of shoes. They lack more than, 2 or 3 outfits. They may have to wear the same 1 or 2 shirts throughout the whole week. We have students here who, they lack what other students at other schools or maybe in other areas don't lack. And again, that's where love comes in at the, hey, we love you and we're here for you at Global Learning Academy, regardless if you have to wear the same pair of shoes, if you have to wear the same shirt, if you don't have, the average, most students have cell phones or video games at home. A lot of our students don't have video games or, things that other kids would have at other schools or in other areas.
20 to 35% of our students are not being raised by a biological parent, whether that is a grandparent, another family member, an adopted parent. So it's everything from, sadly, deaths of parents. We have many students who've lost a parent some to COVID, some to drug overdose, some to violence, abandonment for some, incarceration for some, you name it. And there's a lot of heartbreaking stories in this building. Another reason that support for the grown-ups carrying the weight of these stories is so important.
There is no doubt that kids with more resources make better grades in school. And there is no question there is a divide of those who have and those who have not, sitting in the same classrooms here.
I am the lady they come to for late breakfast. We have a lot of kids that are tardy for whatever reason. Lack of transportation, poor transportation, parents too stretched. Well, for instance, this weekend I took home a jacket of a child that lives in a motel that shows up in the same clothes every day. And I took her jacket home and I gave her a clean one. And she came back in. She's always late because mom's displaced, mom's working, mom's got a child at Pensacola High School, mom's got a child at Warrington Prep. They're living in a motel in the northern part of the county. So she's doing her very best. And so this child is sweet and appreciative, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I gave her a set of clothes and I washed her stuff.
Good morning. Welcome back. We're so glad to see you this morning.
But Principal Lala Pierce is convinced that the division between them can be minimized with a tried and tested, age-old truth known as the love of sharing.
So when you have children maybe who have more and who have been exposed to more, coming together with children who maybe have less and have a little less background experience, that's beneficial for everyone, right? Because we learn to be inclusive, we learn kindness, we learn generosity, basically all those, for people of faith, the fruits of the Spirit. And not that we're explicitly teaching those, but it's a byproduct. You're teaching them how to get along in society and how to care for one another. You have to teach them how to resolve conflict. I'm always telling students when there's a disagreement, and I sometimes am the one involved, about the 4 parts of a good apology. I teach them that a good apology includes the person's name, the words, "I'm sorry," what did you do wrong? What did you do to hurt them? Even if that's physical, emotional, whatever it is, you have to say what you're sorry for. And then also, what are you going to do differently? Because a good apology is about changed behavior, right? So those are all things that we are teaching and catching it now, because otherwise, even when they get to 4th and 5th grade, it's a lot harder than when they're little kindergarten, 1st, 2nd graders.
It was important to Sarah that Enoch be at this school, with its grand entranceway and natural greenhouse. She wanted him to learn that he is no different than any of the others, but he is also no less because of how he gets to school, whether he has his own bed, in his own room, or has to help wash his own clothes at the coin-operated laundromat. Oh yeah, I haven't mentioned why his mother named her son Enoch. If you didn't know, Enoch is one of only 2 people in the Old Testament who was taken straight to God without experiencing death. Elijah is the other. As the great-grandfather of Noah, Enoch lived to be 365 years old and is known for having great faith in God at a time when man was lost and in despair. After all, sin had gotten so bad that God wiped off the earth with a great flood not long after Enoch was taken up by God.
Because Enoch lived and served the Lord faithfully for 365 years and then was no more because God took him. In some cultures, Enoch is known as a great warrior. I was plagued with the middle name, the task of finding a middle name. And, I thought things like Jacob, James, I was like, what goes with Enoch? And one day I was pregnant, I was working at McDonald's, and I was staring out the window and I was thinking it. And then the name Zechariah hit me on a whisper in the wind. And I said it all together. I was like, Enoch Zechariah. And he kicked. And I was like, you like your name, don't you? He kicked again twice. It was set in stone. That was his name, Enoch Zechariah. And he has a very powerful name to live up to.
she gave her son his most unusual name, to always remind
is that a
him
real person?
that faith is not something you wear to school, or how unfair life might seem along the way, but how much faith you have in getting there.
I'm Sarah Elizabeth, so the fact that we both have biblical names, I feel like we're a dynamic mama-son duo. And we're just gonna tackle this thing called life, one baby step and one day at a time.
I have a question, or two. They might seem silly at first, or intrusively intimate, but hear me out. What did you sleep in last night? Was it an old t-shirt? Perhaps your favorite silky pajamas? Do you even remember what you slept in? What if I told you I know of a third grader who slept in his school clothes from the day before? And then, what if I told you there are a dozen more, just like him, who do the same thing? Would it change your perspective on what you slept in last night? And if you have slept in your clothes overnight, you know how icky it feels to try and start fresh the next morning. Outreach for the Poor is a ministry from the Basilica of St. Michael the Archangel. They want to change how those kids we just told you about sleep by giving them some pajamas to change into. And they need your help. On December 15th, between 5 and 7 p.m., come to the Sanctuary event venue in East Hills wearing nothing but your pajamas or your worst sweater, and bring your wallet. Together, we will affect the lives of so many kids at the Global Learning Academy. Giving them new pajamas is just the beginning, but it's something and a place to start. For 2 short hours, we'll have a blast together, making fun of our ugliest sweaters and polka dot pajamas. But the love for those children will last a lifetime, and we're just getting started. You'll soon meet some of them, put a name to a face, hear their personal stories, and begin to walk beside them down a brighter path. Because it's not just about a new pair of pajamas. It's about hope in the outreach.